Today's case focuses on 7-year-old Kyron Horman, who was born in 2002 in Portland, Oregon. His parents, Desiree Young and Kane Horman, divorced when Desiree was pregnant, but they had shared custody of Kyron until 2004. Unfortunately, kidney failure forced Desiree to give up custody, but she still played an active role in his life. In 2007, Kane married Terry Moulton, and they had a daughter named Kiara. At the time, Kyron was attending Skyline Elementary School. Now let's get to the heart of this mystery. On June 4, 2010, Kyron was taken to school by his stepmother, Terry Horman. She stayed with him at a science fair and left around 8:45 am. But here's the twist. Kyron never made it to his class and was instead marked as absent that day. Terry's statements to the police indicate that after leaving the school at 8:45 am, she ran errands at two different Fred Meyer grocery stores until about 10:10 am. Between then and 11:39 am, she stated that she was driving her daughter around town in an attempt to use the motion of the vehicle to soothe the toddler's earache. Terry said that she then went to a local gym and exercised until about 12:40 pm. By 1:21 pm, she had arrived home and posted photos of Kyron at the science fair on Facebook. At 3:30 pm, Terry and her husband Kane walked with their daughter Kiara to the bus stop to meet Kyron. The bus driver told them that the boy had not boarded the bus and to call the school to ask his whereabouts. Terry did so only to be informed by the school secretary that, as far as anyone there knew, Kyron had not been at school since early that day and that he had accordingly been marked absent. Realizing that the boy was missing, the secretary called 911. A massive search effort began, focusing on a 2-mile radius around Skyline Elementary School and on Solvay Island. The reasons for searching these areas were kept under wraps by law enforcement. Kyron's family, who initially avoided the media, eventually spoke out, thanking everyone for their support and urging them to keep searching. They released a statement saying, "Kyron's family would like to thank people for their support and interest in finding their son. The outpouring of support and continued effort strengthens their hope. We need folks to continue to assist us in our goal. Please search our properties, cars, outbuildings, sheds. Also, check with neighbours and friends who may be on vacation or may need assistance in searching. There are a lot of resources here to help you search, so please don't stop. It is obviously a difficult time and they want to speak to the public so you can hear it from the Kyron's family as they come together to share their message. Their objective is to keep the focus on Kyron and not on anything else." On June 12th, around 300 trained rescuers were on the ground searching wooded areas near the school. The search for Kyron, which spanned 10 days, was the largest in Oregon history and included over 1,300 searchers from Oregon, Washington, and California. A reward posted for information leading to the discovery of Kyron, which was initially $25,000, was expanded to $50,000 in late July 2010. In late 2010, in the midst of the search, Kane was reportedly told by investigators that Terry had offered their landscaper, Rodolfo Sanchez, a lot of money to kill her husband. Sanchez testified in a deposition that Terry approached him to help kill her husband in January 2010, 5 months before Kyron's disappearance. Sanchez testified in a deposition that Terry approached him to kill her husband in January 2010, 5 months before Kyron's disappearance. In her own deposition, Terry denied the charge. Investigators convinced Sanchez to confront Terry while wearing an audio surveillance device, but they were unable to obtain any evidence and could not make an arrest. On June 28, Kane filed for divorce and obtained a restraining order against Terry. The divorce was granted and Terry was eventually granted supervised visitation with her daughter. During this time, Terry failed 2 separate polygraph examinations regarding Kyron's disappearance. In August 2010, it was announced that law enforcement were searching for an individual allegedly seen by 2 witnesses sitting inside Terry's truck outside Skyline Elementary on the day of the disappearance. By this time, search efforts in Kyron's case had cost an estimated $1.4 million, according to county commissioners, and yielded 4,257 tips. Bruce McCain, a former sheriff for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, told CBS News, "The identity of that second person, if he or she existed, could be critical in determining what happened to Kyron after 9 am on June 4th. Meanwhile, in July 2010, a Multnomah County grand jury subpoenaed several friends of Terry, including Dee Dee Spitzer, whom Young and Kane described as having been in close communication with Terry. and providing Terry with support and advice that is not in the best interest of their son. According to law enforcement, Spitzer was extremely cooperative and allowed a search of her property and car, as well as enduring 3 hours of questioning from detectives. On the day of Kyron's disappearance, Spitzer abruptly left her work gardening for a homeowner on Germantown Road in northwest Portland around 11:30 am and returned around 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Terry purchase an untraceable cell phone. During this time, Spitzer told journalists, "There's this horror that my friend is going through. If I thought for a second that she was capable of foul play, I would not have been there. She would not have been my friend in the first place." In early August 2010, both Young, Kane and the Skyline Elementary School principal were subpoenaed and testified during the grand jury hearing. In December 2010, it was reported by the Oregonian that the grand jury had yet to provide compelling evidence yielding a potential indictment. On June 1st, 2012, Young filed a civil lawsuit against Terry, claiming that she was responsible for the disappearance of Kyron. The lawsuit attempted to prove that Terry had kidnapped Kyron on the day he disappeared. Young sought $10 million in damages. On August 15, 2012, a federal court judge denied a motion by Terry to delay the lawsuit. In early October 2012, Spitzer refused to answer any of the 142 questions posed to her during a deposition regarding Young's lawsuit. Among these questions were several regarding Spitzer's whereabouts on June 4, 2010 and her contact with Terry that day. She also declined to identify the photo of Kyron, whether she had met him, and whether she knew his father, Kane. During testimony provided by Kane in a separate hearing the same year, he stated that police had told him they have more probable cause to think Terry Horman was involved in Kyron's disappearance than they did 2 years ago. On July 30, 2013, it was announced that Young had dropped the lawsuit against Terry so as not to interfere with the ongoing police investigation. Terry appeared as a guest on Dr. Phil in 2016, during which he told Phil McGraw, "I was advised in the beginning by law enforcement, by my husband at the time, by attorneys in the beginning, not to say anything. I've always wanted to. I've asked multiple times to speak out and I've not been allowed." She denied having any involvement in Kyron's disappearance and also stated her belief that he was kidnapped, adding, "There was a man in a white pickup truck, Ford, parked on Highway 30 at 7-Eleven, which is not near the school. He was acting very strangely and he was addressed by one of the employees because he had been pacing back and forth in front of the 7-Eleven for about 1 hour." In May 2017, it was reported by Portland station KGW that a secret grand jury panel continued to hear evidence in Kyron's disappearance and had convened on multiple occasions. During the report, Kyron's case was described as still active and ongoing. 2 months later, in July 2017, law enforcement conducted further searches along Skyline Boulevard, but the searches yielded no result. The disappearance of Kyron Horman remains one of Oregon's most perplexing mysteries. Despite extensive investigations, his whereabouts are still unknown to this day.